Hello, visiting instructors. My name is Eric Meyer. I'm the Chief Instructor of NASA Great Lakes. The purpose of this video is to give you a brief, I made it as brief as I can, a brief introduction to our system that we're asking you to follow and support. We have a unique system where you, the instructor, is an extension of the classroom. So let's get right into it, and any questions that you have, we can address those afterwards, or you can give me an email or shout, or we can do a Zoom or whatever you like. For the most part, when I've done this in the past, it's easy to understand, and once you get on grid and you do it the very first time, once you understand the 135 document, once you understand that, it's easy street. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to go to a PowerPoint that I made for you. Okay, bear with me 1 second here. Slideshow, play from the start. Okay, here we go. This is for visiting instructors. And if you're familiar and you've instructed with us before, there's only some slight changes, and the changes are to the 135 document. But for the most part, 90% of it, 95% of it's the same. We're an aligned program. Okay, table of contents. There are 7 slides total, and the meat and potatoes is probably on slide number 6, but all of them are important. Please pay close attention, and it will make instructing with this super easy. Before the event, I'm going to send you student pairings probably tomorrow, Friday, which is a week and a day or 8 days prior to the event, asking you to outbound email your assigned student and to ask them about their goals and any questions they might have, and about their car. Is their car ready? They have seat belts in it for you. They have 2 seats, all that fun stuff. The great part is the HPD1 group leaders already doing the same thing, and the HPD1 group leaders is sharing that you'll be reaching out to them. So we're all the way down to number 4 already. We'd ask you that you not only do the outreach via email, but you give them a quick call. And I'm going to put the student's phone number on there. And I find that that really, really works well. I often find that when you do an outreach via phone, they never pick up, but they call you right back because they have questions, especially a first timer who has high anxiety, super nervous. There's a couple ideas of what you should be reaching out for. Any questions they might have. Is your car ready? What's your driving experience? If you've been to PittRace before, have you ever been on track before? Is this your first? Do you have a driver's license, right? All the basic kind of questions, goals and objectives. Moving right along, alignment. Alignment is a professional education term that means everything, just like a car, all the wheels are aligned. It's in alignment. It doesn't pull both right and left. It doesn't dog walk. Alignment, and I'll let you read this, these bullet points here. Alignment is having you as an extension of the classroom. We have a very powerful classroom, and you are an extension of it. Please take a moment to read all these. So you can pause this if you need to and read those again. But essentially, everything revolves around the 135 document that we're going to show you in a second. The classroom talks about early apexing as an example, or apexing in general. We have a drill that supports apexing. You do that drill and support that drill. You, the instructor, and everybody else on track supports that apexing drill. You evaluate the student on that apexing using the 135 document. We'll talk about in a second. And then back in the classroom, they use the 135 document and say, hey, let's talk about that apexing. It's a complete circle of learning, and it's more effective learning versus each and every one of you doing something incredibly different. One guy's trying to teach trail breaking over here, which we don't teach in HPD1, by the way. And another guy's doing point buys, and this guy's trying to do track records, and this guy's lost, right? Alignment is when everybody's singing off the same sheet music. Let's continue. We're halfway done. Saturday morning, we have a quick and early Saturday morning meeting at the instructor trailer. The instructor trailer. That meeting on grid should be instructor trailer. Excuse me, not the instructor trailer, the NASA Great Lakes trailer, which coincidentally happens to be right next to the upper grid. So that's at 6:45, and the whole idea of having a very early meeting is so we can tech the student's car very early and we can be done, and you can go on and do the stuff you have to do and you're not rushed. We have found that our instructors and all the instructors like doing this a little bit earlier, 6:45, to have a quick meeting and then tech the car and you're out of Dodge. So you'll meet your student on grid, which is where we're going to have our instructor meeting, right next to the large NASA Great Lakes semi-trailer. They're 25 feet away from each other. We're going to ask you to sit, and we'll go over this during the instructor meeting. We're going to ask you, after you tech the car, get to meet your student, talk about goals and objectives, reinforce all those things that you talked about when you reach them via phone and you reach them via email. We're going to ask you to sit in the car, put your comms on, and go over the left-hand signals. And the left-hand signals, if you don't know them already, is a squeezing ball is for brake, and a flat palm is for throttle. Pointing or using a mini steering wheel is where you want their eyes to go and where you want the car to go. We'll go over that during the instructor meeting, and that is a requirement. Failure to do so means you get to talk to me. And this is a really simple, easy one that we ask you to reinforce. And if this isn't something you want to do, don't take this the wrong way, but I don't want you as an instructor. We're all on the same page. We're in alignment, and this system works. Okay, now we're going to get into the 135 session. Excuse me. Very first session is a paced reconnaissance or warm-up familiarity lap. That's what you'll be doing. We do wear helmets. We'll be going super slow. It is double yellow. It is pace car. It is just really simple. If you've never been to PittRace, you yourself will learn the track because we're going nice and slow. It is a wonderful facility. And the first session for HPD1 will be no education other than pointing out flag stations and helping the customer learn which way the track goes, which way the next corner goes, right or left. All right, 135 document. Don't be afraid of this. It's easier than you think. Okay, this is a session document. If you hear the session and interchangeably the 135 document right there, 135 and session mean the same thing. So we're going to walk right through this. So your student is going to be given a packet of information, including this and a total of 4 other 135 documents. So there are 5 session documents, 5 135 documents, and they will have those. It is their responsibility to have you fill them out and bring them to classroom. So they are requiring you, they are looking for you to fill that out. So bring a pencil or pen, or bring 2, because sometimes they don't work. So here's how we're going to go about using this. So the student gives you this document. You're sitting in the right seat. And the very first thing we do, and this is for you, is you want to know what the drill information is. And that's why we put that right on the top, right there, the circle, drill information. And this particular second session on Saturday, we're going to do a point buy drill. Why are we doing a point buy drill? Because we just taught point buys in the classroom, and we want to use that alignment model of teaching in the class, supporting on the drills, practicing out on the track, doing a download where they're evaluated on drills, and then come back to the classroom to talk about it. That's the complete loop of an aligned system, and it's very, very effective. And when you can support that, and when you get that, this entire 1-3-5 process for the whole weekend is just easy street. All you got to do is learn this first one and know that the drill information is right there for you on top. What that is a point by drill. And we're going to drill down a little bit, no pun intended, on how this document works. So this thing right here, this top for the point by drill, as you can see that under observations, we're looking for them to point immediately, give a point by either an extended straight arm or over the top, right? Trying to do that in my in the camera, over the top, immediately on track exit. So we're modeling best practices so that the point by doesn't occur halfway down the straight and a train starts. So as soon as you are tracking out, you are giving that signal to give a point by. Excuse me. Now keep in mind, there's no passing going on. This is strictly arm out the window, expeditious practice. And you can see here, they're pointing deliberately, arm is extended and not rushed. It's easy to see. So that is the point by drill. That passing presentation drill is where the speedster, and that's usually me in a white BMW, I'm doing laps up through the field, and there is no passing other than this speedster car that either myself or possibly John or Robert, who are the class leaders, might be doing this, or we might have two speedsters out there. And what we're doing is exposing people to passing. So I'm going to come up behind, or a car is going to come up behind, and you'll know what kind of car it is. It'll be the only car behind your student. We'll make sure you, the instructor, can see this car, and certainly the student can see it. And you will initiate and support a point by telling them, hey, let's go ahead and give this guy a point by, and I'll zip by, or who's ever driving the car will zip by, give him a little thumbs up, a little attaboy. You can give them an attaboy from inside the car, give them some great positive reinforcement, which I hope you're doing quite a bit of. We hope you're doing that quite often. And I'll go to the next person and we'll do another passing presentation. So that's exactly what that is. We're modeling great point bys and great passing. Guess what happens? We don't have passing problems. You don't have trains. And if you do, they're super tiny and they're temporary. Okay. So we've just done some drills, and let's recap. The student enters the car and they give you the sheet. They'll be traveling with this sheet and other sheets all stapled together. They'll be giving you this sheet. You'll be looking up here at the drill information going, okay, what are we going to do? And it'll tell you exactly what you want to do. You want to read this portion and this portion and go, okay, I know what we're doing. We'll do that for 1 or 2 laps. And then for this one, I believe it's 1 lap for point bys and 1 lap for presentation, where there's a car coming up behind you and presenting. Do 1 lap of each, and then you're going to go to normal driving, HPDE instructing, whatever you want to instruct that supports the students' goals and objectives and their biggest problems. If they're having a problem with braking, work on braking. If they're having a problem with early apexing, work on a later turn in, all that fun stuff. So once that is over, you're going right to here. You're doing a download using this document. This is the golden moments where it is easiest and best to reach a student because their brain has been engaged for the past 20 minutes and it is still engaged. It is warmed up. The CPU is still processing, and these are called the golden moments. It's an actual physiological educational term where the brain is ready to continue to learn. And what's really nice is in these golden moments, There's no multitasking because they're not having to be overwhelmed driving. This is the download session. You're parked. You guys are sitting there. Maybe you're drinking a water. The helmet's off. You're sitting in the car and you're doing a download. This is what the student is looking for right off the bat. And you can see these are called download questions. We're looking for verbatim these 3 questions that you'll be asking. The student knows these questions are going to be asked to them specifically because they went over in class these exact 3 questions. Ask them verbatim, please. And they are going to be asked to discuss these questions back in the classroom when they come back around. So ask as many questions as you like, but please include these 3. Start with these 3 before you do the rest of the download. However you would like to do it, however you find it successful. But we need you to, with our aligned program, to ask these 3 questions verbatim. Okay. Are you with me so far? Is it making sense? I'll suggest to you that once you do this one time, it's super easy. And if you mess it up, the customer doesn't know, the student doesn't know, so you'll be fine. Trust me, you'll be fine. You'll get it by the 2nd or 3rd time on Saturday. Okay, moving right along. We've just asked them some questions in the download. Here's the evaluation, the 135 part. This is why we call them the 135 document. So you can see here, here's the grading scale. 1 means great. You can see that they have an internalized skill set. They get it. They understand it, right? 3 is that's still building, and 5 is they're accessing it. They're having some challenges. You can think of it this way. If you think of a podium, like a race podium, 1 is the best because it's on top. It's first place. So 1 is the best score, not 5. 1 is the best score. So you might do something like this. You might give them a 3 in braking because they were a little bit all over the place. They did a couple good. They were inconsistent. Maybe they hadn't been to PittRace before. Maybe they have been before, but they just were working on it. You give them a 3. Maybe you give them a 5 for turning and apexing because they're just kind of all over the place and they need some help. But maybe they're great at applying throttle, and you give them an attaboy and you give them a 1, and maybe those drills really helped and you give them a 1 there. So that's what you're looking to do. You're looking to circle those documents to give them feedback, because immediate feedback is one of the key components of adult learning. They need immediate feedback. So you are taking your pencil and you're circling those, and then you're filling out some driver goals. And here's what we're looking for here. This is your section right here. This is documenting communication for the student. This is essentially what you should do next time. And if you're wanting to use this for your own notes or for their notes, you're welcome to, but we need you to fill those out. And those are anything from attaboy, great job, you're doing great, to remember to turn in a little bit later, to let's be more smooth with your brakes. Anything like that that you're telling them, you want to write that down, because we're going to use that in class and we need that information. The students are presenting this information in class to get a track pass to get back on track. So if you don't fill those out, you're in trouble. It's essentially what it is. Our full circle accountability to have you do this is for the student to have it filled out, or else they don't get back on track. And that's the indicator that I come find you and say, do you need a pencil? Do you need a pen? Do you know how to write? And then I crawl up in your grill, and it's kind of an ugly thing. So that's the 135 document. Once you do one of these, it's super, super simple. Senior instructors from Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, this is a little bit different 135 document than the one you're used to, the one we did last year and the year before and the year before that. We changed it up a little bit, but you should get it, should come super easy to you. And now we're in the summary. You are extension of the classroom. When you learn the 135 document, it's easy street. Thanks for instructing with NASA Great Lakes. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. There's my email address right there, and I'll be happy to help. Should you have any questions, before you ask me, would you kindly watch this presentation again? When I've sent it out in the past, that's usually the best bet, and it's pretty short and you can digest it quite well, but don't hesitate to ask any questions you might have. I'm here for you. And you can bring those questions also to the morning meeting there we're having at PittRace at the trailer at Saturday morning at 6:45. I'm Eric Meyer. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, reach out, and we will see you Saturday morning.